Assalamualaikum to everyone that watching our video. This is our group assignment. Hi, my name is Noor Binti Abu Hassan. My metric number is 058941.
My name is Shahera Binti Mohammed and my matrix number is 058936.
Okay, hello. My name is Nurul Tasnim Binti Ahmad Lufti. My metric number is 057454.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nadia Binti Mohamad Suhani. My metric number is 058679.
My name is Mohammed Syahrudin bin Jaaffar. My metric number is 057414.
As a result, for the video assignment for organizational management, we pick topic 4, communication. The following topic to be discussed is the introduction.
The second topic is importance of communication and organizational communication.
Goals of communication and organizational communication.
The next one is basic elements of the communication process.
Topic 5 is types of communication. Topic 6 is communication channels.
Topic 7 is major barriers to effective communication.
Then, the last topic is effective organizational communication.
From wasting time, let's go to introduction. Advances in technology and globalization have caused vast changes in the way individuals and organizations communicate. Communicating with others hypernically, they may be our family members, friends, superiors and colleagues, customers, suppliers, and even competitors. In most organizations, information is the most important component of survival. Exchanging and sharing of information requires a mechanism called organizational communication. Organizational members need to accurately communicate and deliver required information for work and tasks to be accomplished. Thus, every organizational member must be well informed of the objectives and goals of an organization to understand its direction, as well as how they are to assume their respective roles. This is done through a thorough understanding of organizational communication. In organizations, effective organizational communication is crucial. Leaders must realize the importance of building and sustaining human capital through effective organizational communications, failing which their best-laid plans may not succeed. Effective organizational communications assists in work coordination and the integration of groups in a department to achieve organizational goals. This chapter defines communication and organizational communications via the principles of communication in view of the importance of effective organizational communication. It also discusses the elements of the communication process, the types and channels of communication, the barriers to effective communication, and how to overcome them. Lastly, it also explores the elements of organizational communication. The mechanism for exchanging and sharing of information in an organization is called organizational communication.
Then, the next topic is importance of communications and organizational communications. When we talk about communications, we are talking about it in general. Although its definitions might vary from one individual to another, communication can basically be defined as the process of sharing experience between two or more people. The questions that may arise is communications the same as organizational communications? Communications and organizational communications coexist. The answer is they both coexist. So, to practice effective organizational communication we need to understand the principles of communications. Then, honest communication is the key to organizational transparency. Be timely. Don't wait until you have all the information to deliver a message. Organizational communications also important It enables an organization to gain a competitive advantage and improves organizational members' interpersonal skills. Then organizational communications also helps in building networks, leading effectively and performing managerial roles or leaderships, disseminating and exchanging information, learning new skills and technology, becoming more responsive to customers, thinking analytically, developing innovations and managing change, working as a team, and last, fostering a sense of social, professional, and ethical responsibility.
So I'm going to talk about goals of communication and organizational communication. The goal of organizational communication is to achieve specific intentions or desire through interaction with others. Therefore, developing effective work groups and teams requires organizational members at all levels. First one is to ensure communication reaches all organizational members without discriminating or segregating. Next, to transmit messages that are consistent with actions, otherwise distrust develops among organizational members. To convey sufficient information so that employees realize what is happening in an organization, especially pertaining to their job. To share information clearly and accurately. Last one is to be good communicators and listeners.
The next one is basic elements of the communication process. Let us first understand what constitutes the communication process. Communication is simple to define and undeniably important in allowing organizational members to collaborate, lead, or influence each other. Basic elements of the communication process. The following describes the elements of communication: environment or context, transmission, sender, encoding of messages, mediums or channels, receiver, decoding of messages, feedback, and noise. The first one is environment or context. Environment is the surroundings of and influences on a particular item or interest, while context is the surroundings, circumstances, environment, background, or settings that determine, specify, or clarify the meaning of an event or other occurrence. The next one is transmission, the process of passing something from one person or place to another. The next one is sender. A sender is someone who encodes and sends a message to a receiver through a particular channel. Sender is the initiator of communication. When you think about how you want to craft your speech, you're actually encoding their message. The next one is the encoding of messages. The production of the message. It is a system of coded meanings, and in order to create that, the sender needs to understand how the world is comprehensible to the members of the audience. The next one is messages. A message is a discrete unit of communication intended by the source for consumption by some recipient or group of recipients. A message may be delivered by various means, including courier, telegraphy, carrier pigeon, and electronic bus. The next one is mediums or channels. Media or channel is the means or ways of transmitting the messages from the sender to the receiver. The next one is receiver. The listener, reader, or observer, that is, the individual or the group of individuals to whom a message is directed. The next one is decoding of messages. How an audience member is able to understand and interpret the message. It is a process of interpretation and translation of coded information into a comprehensible form. Effective communication is accomplished only when the message is received and understood in the intended way. The next one is feedback, the response or reaction of receiver to the sender's message. When messages reach to the receiver, he decodes the message and sends his response to the sender to complete the communication process. Feedback enables the sender to evaluate the effectiveness of his message. And the last one is noise, anything that distorts a message by interfering with the communication process. Noise can take many forms, including a radio playing in the background, another person trying to enter your conversation, and any other distractions that prevent the receiver from paying attention.
Now we look at the types of communication.
There are several types of organizational communication. According to the development view, there are verbal, nonverbal, and electronic communication.
There are three types of communication. First, verbal communication. Verbal communication is a type of oral communication wherein the message is transmitted through the spoken words. Here the sender gives words to his feelings, thoughts, ideas, and opinions and expresses them in the form of speeches, discussions, presentations, and conversations. Second, nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication is the transmission of messages or signals through a nonverbal platform such as eye contact, facial expressions, gestures, posture, and body language. It includes the use of social cues, kinesics, distance or proxemics, and physical environments or appearance, of voice or paralanguage, and of touch or haptics. It can also include the use of time or chronomics and eye contact and the actions of looking while talking and listening, frequency of glances, patterns of fixation, pupil dilation, and blink rate or oculesics. Third, electronic communication. Electronic communication is the most recent type of communication. Electronic communications are defined in the ECPA as data communications carried over both wire and wireless systems. Electronic communications differ from wire communications in that they are communications that are not transmitted by sound waves and cannot be characterized as containing a human voice. Now we look at the communication channels.
Messages are transmitted through channels of communication. These channels include formal and informal communication channels.
There are two types of communication channels, which is formal communication channels and informal communication channels. First, we look at the formal communication channels. A formal communication channel follows a chain of command and is recognized as official. There are eight types of formal communication, which is memos, intranet, meetings, conferences, formal one-on-ones, bulletin boards, handouts, and letters. In formal communication channels, we have direction of communication flow in an organization. Within organizations, there are three directions in which communications flow, which is downward, upward, and laterally or horizontal. Downward communication involves a message traveling to one or more receivers at the lower level in the hierarchy. Second, informal communication channels. Uninformal communication channels or spontaneous communication channel arises due to the social relationships involving in an organization. It also arises due to the demands of organizational members in fulfilling their social needs. There are four types of informal communication network that show how the communication is facilitated, which is single strand chain, gossip chain, probability chain, and cluster chain.
Subsequently, major barriers to effective communication. Effective communication requires both the sender and receiver in a communications process to be able to handle a host of barriers that affects communication. These barriers cause disturbances and interference in communication and originate from internal and external environment. As discussed earlier, message delivery and clarity can be disturbed by noise around us, which occur in several forms. Starting with physical barriers. Physical barriers in the workplace include: first, marked out territories, empires into which strangers are not allowed; closed office doors, barrier screens, and separate areas for people of different status. Following that, large working areas or working in one unit that is physically separate from others. Furthermore, research shows that one of the most important factors in building cohesive teams is proximity. As long as people still have a personal space that they can call their own, being close to others aids communication because it helps people get to know one another. Second, social distance and physical barriers. As mentioned earlier, many companies now depend on digital means of communication due to social distancing and remote ways of working. These physical barriers are even more evident within organizations with blue-collar employees without designated working space. Such barrier can go a long way in causing damage to an organization that doesn't know how to leverage technology to eliminate communication challenges. Next is organizational structure. Complex and rigid organizational structure can be the main culprit for inefficient communication, making it one of the most common communications barriers. Such organizations may have inefficient information sharing and communication systems, often resulting in frustrations, lack of engagement, and productivity amongst employees. If a company is highly hierarchical, information can easily get siloed, lost, or distorted as it travels through each layer of the hierarchy. Then, number 4 is listening. Communication should always be a two-way street. Moreover, listening is often much more important than speaking, yet many companies still don't understand the importance of encouraging employees' share of voice and the value of their feedback. After that is emotional barriers. Some people may find it difficult to express their opinions on such as politics, religion, disabilities such as mental and physical, sexuality and racism. Last of all is attentional barriers. The listener may not pay enough attention to what is being said. Perhaps they are distracted or uninterested, or they think the speaker's topic is irrelevant. This is very common in written communication, such as not reading the minutes from a team meeting. Communication is two-way. Without paying attention and actively listening, you will not understand the message.
The last topic is effective organizational communication.
Poor communication and effective organizational communication are interrelated.
The implications of both include: first, low employee morale; second, reduced productivity; third, substandard job performance; fourth, dissatisfaction; fifth, lack of commitment; and last, poor organizational citizenship behavior. First, the relationships. A workplace operates on the effective relationships built between employees, managers, departments, and all levels of the company. The results of the study indicate that in advanced engineers, clear and honest communication helps to encourage and strengthen the relationships, which can assist employees in reaching maximum productivity. The managers in the company maintain a productive relationship with staff members by holding regular departmental meetings, assisting and guiding employees in their work and progress, and recommending them for career development programs. Any type of noteworthy and good work of is appreciated in weekly coordinating meeting held by managing director of the company and is recorded in the minutes of the meeting. These minutes are circulated to every department, and the information of the work and the name of the person reaches to everyone in the organization, motivating them for similar personal contributions. Second, communication culture and teamwork. The company has developed a good communication culture which is beneficial for developing the team spirit and efficient teamwork with clarity of roles. The ongoing two-way communication is the foundation for employee motivation and organizational success in this company. The culture of communication is helping the organization in a crucial way by enhancing employee understanding, building trust, stimulating engagement, and better performance in the changing scenario. So, why is effective communication important in organization? Effective communication is important for the development of an organization. It is something which helps the managers to perform the basic functions of management planning, organizing, motivating, and controlling. Good communication within a team also tends to boost employee morale.
Thank you for listening.